Yes, Luke Skywalker is in the damn movie. If you want to know how, watch the movie. I ain't gonna spoil it here. Stop asking me. Okay guys, sorry about this, but I am currently in Ohio without a video camera, so this review will be a narrated one instead of a traditional video. Now, I'm in Ohio because obviously last night was the premiere of The Force Awakens, and I wanted to see it with my dad. Pop and I have seen every Star Wars movie in the theater together. We saw all three original Star Wars films when they were re-released in the 90s, and we saw each of the prequels on opening day. So this was just keeping with tradition. But none of you care about that. You want to know what I thought about The Force Awakens. It's been so hyped up, so looked forward to by everyone. I don't think I've seen this much hype for a movie since The Phantom Menace came out. So, what did I think of it? I liked it. I just liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. I know everyone is probably expecting me to go, "Oh my god, greatest movie of the year, just as good as the original. Please movie, have my children." No, I sadly can't do that. I may have walked away from the theater with a smile on my face that at long last we had a pretty good Star Wars movie in the theaters again, but gotta be honest guys, if I'm not being honest with you, I'm not doing my job as a critic. So here we go. The Force Awakens sees a slew of new characters teaming up with the Star Wars characters of old to take down the newest threat to the series, the New Order, led by the sinister Kylo Ren. We get pretty much what we wanted. It definitely feels like we're back in the world of the original trilogy again. The new characters, both good and evil, are surprisingly complex and fun to have an adventure with, and certain scenes do have big emotional payoffs. The use of practical effects that J.J. Abrams incorporates are wonderful, as are the few motion capture performances, and I walked away from the theater feeling satisfied. For the most part. Okay guys, I'm just gonna get this out of the way. I have one major beef with this movie, and sadly, it's a really big problem. A problem so big that not even my father could enjoy the movie because of it. In fact, he walked out quite disappointed, and I'm not going to blame anyone else if they were as well. Are you ready for it? Here it is. Droid has information stored inside of it. Check. Meets orphan on a desert planet. Check. They team up with a kick-ass pilot. Check. They in turn team up with an old mentor-type character. Check. The the New Order, has a giant planet killing machine. Check. A resistance is formed to take it and the New Order down. Check.
Something very familiar about all this.
When you get down to it, the external plot of this movie is A New Hope. I don't just mean it follows a similar structure, or pays homage with a few scenes. No, that would have been fine. This movie is note by note A New Hope. And those are just a few of the plot beats. I'm not going to say any more at the risk of major spoilers, because in the end, I still want you to see this movie. But really, the external plot of this movie just got a bit too predictable because I noticed early on that they were just following the major beats of A New Hope, so I was pretty much able to guess everything that was going to happen. And that was kind of a bummer, to be honest. I really expected something different instead of just the original movie rehashed. Look, I'm not trying to cause shit here, but I had a similar problem in another Abrams film called Star Trek Into Darkness, a movie that just shamefully ripped off the Wrath of Khan at every turn, as well as some other Star Trek movies, instead of trying to do something special. So if I'm gonna bitch at that, I have to do the same here. There's not much of an in-between in this situation. However, what I can concede and what I think happened with the external plot is that he was trying to make a love letter to the original, and at some points, it generally does feel like that. Not every single beat follows A New Hope, just the really major ones do. And because of this, most of the time, I sat there wanting him to just do something new. I've seen these plot points before, I genuinely wanted some new ones. But ironically enough, the movie does find its salvation. Where? In the internal plot of the movie, which is incredibly good. He does do new things with these new characters, as well as new things with the old ones. The internal plot of the movie is what saves it and makes it its own unique thing, despite the rehashed external plot. The new characters are fun and memorable. You like them, you want them to succeed, and some of them even manage to leave an impact. Daisy Ridley's Rey character in particular is spectacularly done. Truly one of the best characters we've ever had in this series. Daisy Ridley's performance is so damn good and by far my favorite in the entire film, and that's saying a lot. Harrison Ford is in this damn movie. I liked her more than him. I have to hand it to this actress. She's a newcomer, and she truly embodied this character and made her something special. John Boyega's Finn character is the most sympathetic in the movie. Very relatable and full of depth. Poe Dameron is a fun and memorable character, but sadly he's not in as much of the movie as I would have liked. And Han Solo, what can I say? It's Han fucking Solo. He's made of awesome. His scenes with the new cast are great, his scenes with Leia are great, his scenes with Chewie are hilarious, he's just a lot of fun. If you were expecting to fall in love with this character all over again, you won't be disappointed in the slightest. Now, the villain. Kylo Ren. A villain who is not just great, but quite refreshing in the sense that he's just a guy. He's not a deformed sorcerer, or more machine than man, or even a dictator. He's just a guy. He looks like a normal, everyday person when his mask is off, and that's so damn refreshing. After so many movies of monsters and robots and deformed people being the villains, it was so nice to see that a great villain can be derived from a character who just looks like you or me. This is a great villain with a past, with a central goal that you can understand, with a lot of depth. Now, he's no Vader, but he's a damn good replacement for a new series of films. He's witty, he's sympathetic, and every time he goes dark, you feel all the weight of Adam Driver's stellar performance. I loved Kylo Ren, and I can't wait to see him back in the next one. But now, it's time to talk about my absolute favorite character in this movie. I love BB-8. Yes, that little soccer ball droid is amazing. He could have easily been annoying comic relief, but no, he's the anti-Jar Jar. He's so funny. They give him more personality than they ever gave C-3PO or R2-D2, and this robot can't even speak. I was so surprised. Every time this little droid was on screen, he either had me laughing or wanting me to hug him. He was that adorable. Without a doubt, my favorite droid in the entire franchise, and one of my new favorite characters to boot. Now, other than taking too much from A New Hope, was there anything else I didn't like? Yeah, I was pretty annoyed that so many of the characters the film had hyped up seemed at times insultingly sidelined. General Hux and Poe Dameron in particular are potentially interesting characters that sadly don't get as much screen time as they should. General Hux has a cool scene that is very reminiscent of Hitler in the Third Reich, but for the most part, he just bitches out Kylo Ren and he's sadly not in the movie enough to leave a big impact. Poe Dameron is introduced as a pretty awesome character, incredibly reminiscent of Han Solo, but he disappears for a lot of the movie and I just found myself wanting more of him. But no one in this movie gets the shaft like Gwendolyn Christie does playing Captain Phasma. I was so excited to see what she could do, and sadly, she doesn't do jack shit. She's treated like the Boba Fett of this series. For the record, in the context of that last statement, please note that I fucking hate Boba Fett. She doesn't do anything, and it makes a character who could have been cool rather useless as a result. I'm sorry. I love Gwendolyn Christie. This actress deserved more than this. Overall, I liked The Force Awakens a lot. It's a ton of fun, but when you get down to it, it's just a good Star Wars movie, not a great one. It borrows way too many plot elements from A New Hope, and sidelines way too many characters who could have been potentially awesome. I honestly feel similar about this film that I do about Return of the Jedi, in the sense that it's still a really cool film, but with problems plaguing it that are too massive to ignore. Hell, ironically, both Force Awakens and Jedi both stole their climaxes from A New Hope. However, I still think I like Jedi a little more because, in all fairness, it's just a tad more memorable and a tad more creative. So, in the end, I'm giving The Force Awakens a B. Now, before you start throwing your computer against the wall, let me clarify that that is good. Again, this is a good Star Wars movie, and if you want to see a good Star Wars movie again, you'll most likely get your money's worth here. The Force Awakens is the best Star Wars movie since 1983, for whatever that's worth, and it feels damn good to say that. Thank you, J.J. Abrams, for all the work that you put into making this movie. You obviously care about this franchise. It may not be the most memorable Star Wars movie, but I'll be damned if it isn't one of the most fun.
A Jedi. They're real.
The Force. It's calling to you. Just let it in.